I see you have interest in my latest video. Would you like to come watch?
Last episode, I left off with completing the 24x24x24 fission reactor, and thus, that is where I'll be picking back up. Remember how I said power cells could contain a ton of energy, but I was too lazy to figure out how to use them? Me neither, but I did finally discover a way to access the energy of these devices. Turns out, placing multiple power cells next to each other causes them to all link together, creating one large battery. After using some random tool, I connected the battery to my flux system. This was considerably pointless, but at least I had some sort of backup if my black hole generator ever failed catastrophically. I then initiated the construction of the max size gas storage drive by crafting a bunch of 1K gas storage components and some silicon seeds. While I was waiting for the inscribers to generate enough materials, I applied every single tool modifier in the game to a variety of tools. Why? Because achievement. Nice. This took the perfect amount of time because I returned with the exact amount of gas storage components needed to craft the 4 million byte edition. Boom! Easy! I also added some coolers and some cells to the reactor. Then I added some more cobble gens. Have a look at this montage of me doing that. As expected, the production speed increased. Then I made a few machines, including the combiner, chemical oxidizer, and chemical crystallizer. I used them to obtain the redstone and lapis carrot, and I used those to obtain the red and blue pill. I also crafted a charging station and an android station, but that's not as important as turning into a freaking android. You may be wondering why I transformed into an android, and the main reason was so that I could stop getting sucked into the black hole generator. An ability in the android menu thingamabobber would disable the suckage of black holes, but I needed to get quite a lot of XP to acquire it. Thus, I started to construct a massively overpowered mob spawner. That also meant I could do this again.
Happy birthday, Taco!
I like that. I initially used the zombies at first, but after seeing what difficulties that could bring, I used androids instead, which, of course, means I got to do this once again. I switched to androids partly because I discovered that you could wear android parts. I also realized that legendary android parts administered much larger buffs. Additionally, I utilized the mob crusher to slaughter enormous numbers of mobs at once. And I must admit, it was fun to watch hundreds of androids perish at once. It gave me a sense of revenge from when I was attacked by one of their associates in the first episode. What the frick? What is going on? What is that? To harvest the experience from all of these androids, I crafted the Fluid Dictionary Converter. This converted essence, which I collected from the Mob Crusher, into experience. I then utilized a Fluid Transport node to wirelessly send essence to the Fluid Dictionary Converter to the storage tank and finally to the XP tap, which is where I would gather the experience. I also experienced some lag, which was very frustrating. Bruh. Why am I freaking lagging so bad? It's the Nether. This isn't anything new. After a few cycles of collecting XP and upgrading my android self, I unlocked and acquired the Space-Time Equalizer upgrade, which prevented me from getting stuck in a black hole ever again. I then upgraded the mob spawner to continue spawning mobs when I was far away, which helped me to generate a ton of XP without needing to stand next to the mob spawner. The next upgrade was much more detrimental to my FPS. I increased the max number of nearby entities, meaning the spawner could spawn a huge number of androids with no capacity limit. I then did some upgrading, some more upgrading, some XP collection, and, you guessed it, even more upgrading. Basically, I maxed out all of the android abilities. I also fed the black hole generator some titanium blocks. It was time to put all of these upgrades to use, so I challenged the most powerful being in the game. Is what I wish I did, but instead I built the beginning of a massive farm for magical crops. I began by placing down a 17 by 77 platform made out of cobblestone, and on top of that I placed down several 15 by 15 plots of grass. Then I substituted hydrogel blocks for a water source, and I tilled all of the soil that was currently placed down. Next, I placed some nature and dirt seeds, and I used a few harvesters to reap their essence. This is where things start to actually become interesting. I placed down a batch of growth crystals, but I quickly realized that I had run out of water bottles. Oh no, whatever will I do? It's not like I can just mass produce water bottles by right-clicking this tank. Oh, wait a minute. I'll get a machine to do it for me. And thus, I organized my greatest invention yet, the automatic water bottle filler. Basically, it's an auto-clicker that is filled with regular bottles, and it spews out water bottles by right-clicking them on a black hole tank filled with water. It worked, as shown by the multiple stacks of growth crystals that I created with them. Now, my bone supply was low, so I crafted 20 blocks of blue mulch and planted some bone saplings in them, which replenished my stock in no time. Another cool thing that I discovered during all of these shenanigans was that android parts could be used to feed the black hole generator. And since I had so many android parts and a literally endless supply of them, I set up the worst dispensing system ever created to automatically fill the black hole generator. Then I upgraded my Mattock. After laying down more dirt, crafting and placing growth crystals, beginning another layer of the farm, and tilling the soil with my upgraded Mattock, I discovered something revolutionary. Oh. Yo. This isn't fair. I shouldn't be able to plant this many crops at a time. That's correct. I could place down entire plots of seeds with a building gadget, which would drastically speed up the process of farm construction. Due to the power of the new farm, I was able to craft a single sextuple compressed sugarcane block. To assist me in gathering more nature seeds, I established a 3x3 plot of land that was equipped with every buff that I knew of at the time. This included a plant interactor, 15 sprinklers, 9 stacks of growth accelerators, and a vacuum hopper. This area would be known as the seed generator, as it essentially multiplied all the seeds that were placed in it. Despite having upgraded my Mattock less than an hour beforehand, I forged another one made out of supremium. Additionally, I applied some buffs to it that transformed it into a tilling machine. I also upgraded it a few times. I also slapped and killed Mr. T. I returned back to the water bottle generator, and I actually found out that you don't need to make a giant mess to collect them. Immediately afterward, however, I discovered that I had run completely dry of iron. Out of iron? How am I out of iron? That's like the most common material I have. But I also finished the second layer of the farm by placing the final harvesters and configuring their settings. Then I got shot by a skeleton, activating some demonic force field. Dude, I had a heart attack from that. I got shot in the face. Remembering that I was low on iron, I filled the seed generator with iron seeds. After a sufficient amount of time, and after I got shot in the face by another skeleton, I replaced the iron seeds with skeleton seeds. I also fused some green fertilizer into the dirt to increase the number of seeds that the crops produced. I returned once again to the farm and placed down some dirt on the third layer. This is when I was forced to acknowledge the fact that I needed light to ensure my farm didn't become overrun with mobs. You thought I was finished upgrading the seed generator? So did I, but that was before I sacrificed multiple stacks of nether stars to surround the small area with tier 2 growth accelerators. I then went back to the black hole generator to check on the progress of the android parts, and I was pleased to see that the power output had increased from 6,000 to 9,000 RF per tick. After adding my collection of titanium seeds to the farm, I gained enough materials to craft 7 dense infinite water sources. These may seem like completely useless items, but you gotta remember that the achievement list is entirely composed of useless items. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the black hole tank. I needed to fill this puppy with over 2 million buckets of water, and I needed all the power I could get to reach this goal in a timely manner. I may have gone a bit overkill though, because after setting up some fluid transport nodes, the total combined combined output was about 12,000 buckets per minute. But hey, I ain't complaining. Speaking of overkill, I crafted another stack of power cells to add to my already massive battery. For some reason, I still wanted to increase my water production speed, and I crafted a few ultimate fluid tanks to help me speed up the process. However, it would have been helpful to do some research beforehand, because they ended up being completely incompatible. Nevertheless, I crafted about 15 more dense infinite water sources for the meme, boosting the total production speed to around 35,000 buckets of water per minute. I was also working on the black hole generator, feeding it some tritanium, when I suddenly got a great idea.
Ooh. What if I fed it the spawner?
I tried to use the spawner to feed the black hole with the androids themselves, but it never worked because androids can't spawn in the Twilight Dimension. On the flip side, I got another layer of my gigantic farm to start producing more nature essence. To prevent my hopping bonsai pots from clogging up, I reorganized the placement of the chests. I also replaced all of the bone saplings with glowstone saplings. That glowstone would be used to light up the farm, ensuring maximum production speed. Although it would make accessing individual seeds virtually impossible, the trade-off was worth it. Then I got some pink slime, which enabled me to craft the infinity drill, and it was around this time that I had a guest appearance on the show.
Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it.
I've been playing Minecraft for 9 hours. My head is en pena.
Hey, Septic, say something funny.
You in sex mode, sex.
Alright, thank you. I just recorded that through my phone on a mic, so.
Oh my god.
Holy crap, that feels so fast.
I'm dead inside.
Yeah, I know.
I told CepticTech about my island.
I don't want to send you a picture of this because it would totally spoil the SkyFactory video, but like, this thing is lagging my world so much it's not even funny.
And he told me about...
I am cracked.
Then instantly getting impaled by a large amount of spears.
What are you talking about?
something.
You just keep talking and I have no idea what you're saying.
While we were talking, I crafted the Biofuel Generator, which doesn't generate biofuel, but instead generates power from biofuel. I was mad at first, but I then realized I had collected over 95% of the water needed to fill the black hole tank. I also tried to use the infinity drill for the first time, and it was actually kinda useful.
I have a plasma shield, you peasants. Try to shoot me to radio budilnik. Holy crap.
Since the infinity drill would take literal days to charge at its current pace, I tried to construct a giant wireless charger. To do this, I packed a bunch of individual wireless chargers together and linked them all up to the flux system. Meanwhile, CepticTech was busy using his last 73 brain cells.
Did you have to snort this? No, it wasn't cocaine, idiot.
It wasn't cocaine, it was methamphetamine.
Unfortunately, it didn't change much, and the charging speed was still less than necessary. Fortunately, the black hole tank had finally reached maximum capacity.
Yes! Yeah, okay, yes! We got the freaking black hole tank done. That took so long just to get whatever that number is. Yay!
Then I began working toward filling up the cookie jar with cookie singularities, and it was clearly taking a toll on my sanity.
I'm literally making cookies in Minecraft. I have to make 10,000 of them.
I eventually devised a system that would automatically craft cookies given that it had the materials, and after a few minutes, I got enough singularities to fill the cookie jar.
We got the 6 cookie singularities. I doubt this is gonna work, but maybe. Ah, come on, man.
Not to my surprise, I had to fill up the cookie jar with 8 stacks of cookie singularities, not 8 individual cookie singularities. Going back to the black hole generator, I discovered a device that is like a dispenser but better in every single way. This proved to work very well for dispensing the android drops into the black hole. Returning to the farm, I crafted about 20 hydrators and placed them down at the seed generator. These devices would simply increase the speed that the crops grew. I then finalized the 3rd layer of the farm by setting up the harvesters and laying down some growth crystals. I still had a few stacks of growth crystals left, so I decided to begin construction of another layer. However, this time would be different because I would utilize the Supremium hoe to till as much soil as possible at once. Crafting this wasn't too hard, I just needed to create a few tool cores and an insanium tinkering table. Needless to say, this tool was definitely worth it, and I finished the 4th layer of the farm. Since I was collecting a lot of tritanium blocks, I threw them into the black hole dispenser and watched as the RF per tick increased. Then I crafted this.
What? What the frick?
Good enough. While I was searching through my ME system, I rediscovered an item that would be helpful with building the farm, the copy-paste gadget. That copies the whole farm. What the frick? Then, for no reason, I placed down a few stacks of reactor cells in the reactor, which slightly increased the RF per tick. Even though the copy-paste gadget was pretty much useless, I went on a farm building rampage. I ended up constructing about 3 more layers of farm, and I additionally substituted tier 2 growth crystals for hydrogel blocks. The copy-paste gadget wasn't useless, however. It was good for efficiently placing down a pattern of reactor cells that would later allow me to mix in cooling blocks efficiently. Another gadget that I used to help me in the farm construction process was the destruction gadget. With this tool, I could quickly mine out the sections of the farmland that needed to be filled in with growth crystals. Then, I noticed something. Ooh, milestone? Milestone? Oh, that's the wrong freaking one. Septuple. Freaking almost, oh, a lot more than 1,000,000 matter. Bro. We need 8 more of these, and we got the achievement. We on track. I crafted my first septuple compressed sugarcane, showing that the new farm was working as intended. As such, I continued planting hundreds of nature seeds on the new layer of the farm. On a very, very different note, I had been experimenting with different types of fission reactor fuel. Despite already gaining most of the achievements associated with the fission reactor, I started down a path of obtaining the most powerful fuel in the game. To get there, I crafted some TBU fuel, used it in the reactor, then threw it into the fuel reprocessor to break it down into materials that could be used to craft other fuels. I would repeat this process again and again, until I reached the cap. The first problem I ran into is heat. The fuels had become so powerful that they would generate almost enough heat to cause a meltdown.
Ooh, I shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have tried it. Okay, no more of that.
My fix for this? Active coolers. In hindsight, I don't know why I didn't just use active coolers instead of regular coolers, but I also truly didn't care at the time. Anyhow, I placed down about 10 more active coolers, which delivered a huge reduction in heat. I also added a melter outside the reactor to keep the supply of molten diamond at an adequate level. Remembering the sugarcane production and how much it had become cluttered with a new volume of resources, I constructed a much more efficient and organized way to convert nature essence into compressed sugarcane. First, I linked up the ME system to an ender chest dedicated to sugarcane production.
How is this full? What the frick?
Then I hooked up that ender chest to a bunch of auto crafters. Next, I connected the auto crafters to their own separate lines of auto packagers. And finally, I routed the contents produced by the auto packagers back to the ME storage. Now, after setting up some ME export buses, I had a system that would automatically convert nature essence into quintuple compressed sugarcane, which was much easier to work with. This invention couldn't come at a better time, as I had just finished up the 8th layer of the farm, with 7 layers of it being dedicated to only nature seeds. I also got another septuple compressed sugarcane. I'm not even going to try to perform a segue here, but I began the process of gathering every type of truffle in the game. If you didn't know, truffles come from resource hogs, meaning that to obtain the 46 truffles, I would need to create 46 different resource hogs. And to create resource hogs, you need a mud bucket. So that means I spent the next hour finding every material that I needed to craft every mud bucket in the game. And I'm going to be honest, some of these materials were very difficult to find. I also built a small platform for the resource hogs. Before any of this, however, I finally obtained the best fuel in the game.
No way! Oh my god.
Although I never ended up using it, because, as I explained,
I don't know about this one. I think it's gonna explode my reactor if I put it in.
Anyways, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, the mud buckets. Did you know that you can and will lose any bucket that you use when creating a mud bucket in the crafting menu? I didn't, but I found out when my Supremium bucket disappeared.
Bro, game just deleted my bucket.
After gathering a ton of these buckets, I quickly realized that the platform that I built was awful due to its lack of fences.
Oh my... Okay, this is a problem.
After a few minor fixes, I still wasn't getting all 46 of the truffles. This was expected since I had lost a few hogs earlier on, but I had only collected about a dozen truffles. I soon discovered the culprit when I learned that the hogs need to stand on very specific surfaces to dig up truffles. Thus, I reconstructed the entire ranch by systematically placing some diagonal fences to take up the least amount of space possible. After that, I filled in the blocks inside the fences with the ones required for each hog. And finally, I transported all all of the hogs over to the ranch using the mob imprisonment tool. Along with this, I used the controlled miner, which would mine the truffles, and the item collector, which simply collected the items, to gather all of the truffles. When I tried to access them, however, the game crashed.
Please don't tell me the game crashes from this.
After rebooting, I saw that I had collected all but 7 of the truffles. This was an easy fix. I just crafted some more mud buckets and transported a few more hogs to the ranch. I also linked the item collector to the ME system, and after a few minutes, I had obtained all of the truffles.
So that's 1, 2. Yes! Oh my god! I don't know why I'm celebrating. That really didn't take that long.
I also checked on the Cobblestone Generator, which seemed to be moving along smoothly. Since I was getting a lot of tritanium from the farm, I organized a system that automatically converts tritanium essence into tritanium blocks and sends them into the black hole. Speaking of the farm, it was time to start preparing for the octuple compressed netherrack. So I replaced the nature seeds in the seed generator with some nether seeds. A while later, I switched out the nether seeds with some tritanium seeds. I then crafted a sponge paper yo-yo, on which I would attempt to apply every single yo-yo upgrade, although in reality it did exactly 0 damage. After applying some random upgrades that I didn't even know the purpose of, I crafted another paper yo-yo. I applied some more upgrades and eventually got an achievement.
Yay! Got that one.
Since the production of nature essence was too much for the converting system, I increased the number of auto-crafters, which seemed to fix the problem. Just like the yo-yo, I applied every possible armor modification to some paper armor. I don't really feel like explaining this one, so I'll just play a recap of the experience.
And boom. Gotta mod them all. Let's go. Alright, I'm gonna check this. Yo, we got 2 in 1. It's full. Oh my god.
Surprise! After all of this modifying, the black hole unit was full.
And then, yes! Fill a black hole unit with any item and right click it. We've got it done, boys. This took how many? I'd say probably over 70 hours to get. This is just ridiculous.
One achievement I had dreaded since I started playing the game was the one that required the player to collect every single mob statue, mostly because their purposes seemed completely obsolete.
What? Oh. What? Okay, so it just throws rotten flesh at me. Nice.
However, I couldn't put it off forever, so I just decided to subject myself to an hour of torture. First, I crafted the decorative form of all of the statues, and I also built a small farm for chorus flowers. Next, I crafted all of the sound variants of the statues, which required a lot of redstone and a lot of note blocks. In the middle of all of this, I replaced a ton of my crops with tritanium seeds in an effort to increase the power produced by the black hole generator. Then, I returned to crafting the functional variant of all the mob statues, which used a lot of chorus flowers and quartz ore. Gaining these materials required me to spend loads of time spamming chorus trees with a watering can. It also subjected me to huge amounts of lag. To keep myself interested, I constructed a massive chorus tree by replacing all of the dead chorus flowers with new ones. At the end of all this, I cut it down, which got extremely close to crashing my game. Anyhow, I finished crafting all of the functional mob statues, and I moved on to crafting the peaceful statues. This required a lot of nether stars and mob statue cores, which were obtained through pristine witch matter. Luckily, I had already stockpiled a bunch of both materials, so crafting all of these was mostly easy. I say mostly because I had to somehow craft a white rabbit statue, despite there being like 10 different rabbit statues. In fact, the white rabbit statue was barely white, it was more of a light brown. Kudos to the colorblind person that designed that achievement. Finally, I acquired all of the statues, and I harvested all of their rewards to celebrate. I also checked on the black hole generator and the sugarcane collection. I was still trying to get the filing cabinet achievement, so I took a different approach of filling the cabinet with water instead of blocks. Thus, I set up an auto clicker with a fluid folder and an infinite water source. I doubted it would work, but it wouldn't hurt to try. Now bear with me. This next part gets a little confusing, so I'll try to run through it as quickly as possible. I crafted the rock crusher and input some granite, which was then broken down into crushed Vilaumite, sulfur, and crushed rhodochrosite. Then I threw the crushed Vilaumite into the manufactory to produce crushed sodium fluoride. I also input some diorite into the rock crusher to get zirconium dust, crushed corobiite, and crushed fluorite. I mixed the crushed fluorite in some water and the fluid enricher to generate fluorite water. I then used some sulfur dust that I already had and melted it into molten sulfur. With some oxygen, some molten sulfur, and a recently crafted chemical reactor, I formed sulfur dioxide. While that was processing, I constructed a storage system for the electrolyzer so I could could at least make this experience less hellish. Going back to the chemical reactor, I mixed the sulfur dioxide with some more oxygen to create sulfur trioxide. I then mixed the sulfur trioxide and fluorite water to obtain sulfuric acid. And at last, I mixed the sulfuric acid with the fluorite water to acquire calcium sulfate solution and hydrochloric acid. After crafting the crystallizer and converting the calcium sulfate solution into calcium sulfate, I had the materials necessary to craft crystal binder. I added some DU platings and used the crystal binder along with some boron ingots to craft 4 elite platings. I understand that you are completely lost right now, but in conclusion, I used all of these materials, machines, and processes to get the fusion core, aka the base of the fusion reactor. I also noticed that the black hole generator, after being fed tons of tritanium blocks, was very close to reaching the goal of 15,000 RF per tick. Then the game just closed on me.
What the frick? Bruh, game legit just freaking said, alright, we're gonna close now, and then closed. What the frick, dude?
For some reason, I crafted a lithium-ion battery, which held 32 million RF, but was virtually useless on the account of the fact that I had no idea how to extract its energy. Anyways, I placed down the fusion core, and after crafting a ton of fusion reactor connectors and fusion electromagnets, began constructing the ring of the fusion reactor. It was around this time that I remembered the black hole generator should be generating enough energy for the achievement.
As long as it doesn't, like, explode when I open it. Yes, I have 15,000. Alright. Moment of truth! Yes! Let's go! Don't overreact! Holy crap. Dude, I've been working on this for like probably 30 hours. I'll take it, actually. Okay, we have all of this done. We're about to get this done. And we're starting to get this done. So, I think we're set up. Like, this should take maybe 5 to 20 more hours.
I returned to building a 24x24 fusion reactor, and my first step was to generate a ton of copper for copper solenoids. I did some crafting and infusing and a whole bunch of other stuff so I could obtain some signalum flux ducts and some cryostabilized flux ducts. I then went back to building the outer ring of the fusion reactor, and before I knew it, I had it finished.
Ooh! Tell me I have enough. Yes! Alright, hopefully I didn't jack up this building.
Then I went through several iterations of the flux ducts and their placements, and I eventually settled on a pattern that used 2 long chains of signalum flux ducts and a bunch of flux points. But I quickly ran into an issue.
Oh, that might be all powered. Come on, come on. Why didn't that work? Torite site 20... Oh my... You've got to be joking. You've got to be joking. You've got to be kidding me. Toroid soid... I can't speak. 25? How is it 1 larger? It's the inner ring, isn't it? Oh, my lord.
And so I spent the next 20 minutes completely breaking and rebuilding the whole structure.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20, 21, 22, 23. Okay, no more shenanigans. I think that should be it.
Additionally, I used a few transparent electromagnets so I could peer into the machine. Oh, one more thing.
Is that enough? That's 7, right? No way! Yes! Oh my god, dude! This progress is awesome, dude. I literally played only today, pretty much. I've got so many achievements done. Okay, time to finish this freaking devil machine.
Going back to the fusion reactor, I finished the setup, but didn't get the achievement.
Oh, I think it is. Okay, please. Okay, it's 24. Achievement, hello? Hello? Achievement.
I started fueling the reactor with some leftover hydrogen, and I eventually discovered the raw power of the flux system.
Turn off the freaking... Oh! Oh, that's going up. How the frick is it doing that? Since when was it able to go that fast? Hello?
In almost no time, the reactor was hot enough to start using fuel, and I had successfully gained a working fusion reactor. I also placed down a drum filled with hydrogen to keep the machine fueled. I extracted the deuterium from the reactor and recycled it back into fuel. This caused the reactor to produce some very strange substances. All of the confusion around which material was which caused me to make a giant mess of fluid cables and drums, which only introduced more clutter.
This over here is a freaking mess. Holy crap.
I kept trying to find a way to fix the mess, but nothing was working. Meanwhile, I built a hub of electrolytic separators underneath the reactor so I could provide a steady stream of hydrogen, deuterium, and oxygen. Along with this, I added a bunch of speed and energy upgrades to keep the system efficient. I hooked up all of the fluid ducts to a bunch of fluid transport nodes, which I linked to some nearby drums. During this, I found a video where a guy got the achievement by clicking on the underside of the reactor, so I did that as well.
Dude, that freaking achievement, so it's a little late, about 2 hours too late actually, I'd say.
Next, I tried to integrate a superconducting electromagnet, but it ended up not working at all. To fix the clutter problem, I moved all of the drums to the platform under the reactor, and assigned them all to GPS markers. Then I tethered the reactor to a fluid transport node filled with these markers, and voila! I had found the solution. Next, I wanted to organize a more efficient way to transport substances into the reactor, so I engineered a chain of fluid cables that I could connect to the drums. This seemed to work, and I also saw that I was making tons of energy.
Oh, frick. Holy frick! Holy frick! I just noticed. I literally did not notice at all. How did I not see that? Oh my lord, that is going fast.
However, everything started to fall apart when I wanted to add helium to the mix. Since fluid cables act as individual blocks instead of continuous pipes, individual substances would become trapped in the mix.
Deuterium. Why is oxygen here? What the frick is oxygen doing? Hydrogen. No, I don't want hydrogen. There's a lot of deuterium wasted, but I don't care. Alright, there we go. Put that there. Okay, it's only 1,000. And the helium just disappeared. And the hydrogen's back. Oh my freaking... Now it's helium. No, my god. Not sure why there's still oxygen. Where did the oxygen come from? I thought it was on deuterium now. But what is going on?
Luckily, I had a genius idea on how to fix this problem. I placed down a few fluid transport nodes that were connected to the reactor next to the drums, and I then ran some fluid ducts from them to the substances. Thankfully, it appeared to work. I put this system into practice, and I was actually closer to getting the achievement than I had previously thought.
Wait. Oh, there we go! Yes! Yes! Let's go, dude! We finally got it. Oh my god. Dude, we're actually so close to being done.
I was, indeed, getting close, and I already had about a third of the cookie singularities needed to fill the cookie jar. Really quickly, I set up a small contraption that would keep the fusion reactor from exploding. The first step to completing the octuple compressed netherrack achievement was to replace virtually all seeds with nether seeds, which I thankfully had tons of due to my prior stockpiling. I also needed to upgrade the compression system, which I did by adding more auto-crafters and more auto-packagers. Another achievement I was working toward was obtaining the ultimate singularity, a singularity that required every singularity in the game. I was making a lot of progress, and I had created the coal, redstone, and iron singularity in no time. I eventually devised a system that, with enough materials, would automatically create singularities for certain materials. Alongside that, I increased the cookie singularity production by placing down more auto-crafters and quantum compressors, and not too long after, I had obtained my first septuple compressed netherrack. And even sooner, I had enough cookie singularities to fill a cookie jar.
I think we have enough. Yes. Yeah, I think we do. And bam! Cookie clicker. Another achievement out the window. Now we just need these two, and I guess I can do something about this one. Let's go!
I also repurposed the old farm into an essence farm for the materials needed to craft singularities. One thing that I needed to craft the ultimate singularity was the ultimate crafting table. And, as you can see, I had already made a good start. Remember the matter replicator from last episode? Well, I attempted to use it again to assist me in the process of gathering netherrack. However, after about 30 minutes of setup, I eventually realized that the machine was simply not powerful enough for my needs. I used a ton of upgrades and a lot of matter, but it never ended up working. On the flip side, I crafted many more seeds needed for the ultimate singularity, and I began to get more of them in the seed generator. I then paid a long-needed visit back to the filing cabinet, and after poking around, I eventually discovered an upgrade that would allow the filing cabinet to accept water. This meant nothing to me, however, because the achievement wouldn't activate even if the filing cabinet was filled with water instead of cobblestone. After some more poking around, I found the Viaduct, which is a pretty pointless but very cool transportation device. One of its variants, the long-range Viaduct, was even better on the account of the fact that it was very cheap to manufacture. Here's a clip of the Viaduct in action.
What the frick? That was weird.
30 minutes of me messing with them later, and I had organized a massive chain of them around my entire island. I also placed down some more tier 2 growth crystals. I was getting very bored with these last two achievements, so I decided to mess around with some astral sorcery. I don't have a clue what this mod is about, but it seemed to have something to do with the alignment of the stars. I crafted the luminous crafting table, and something strange seemed to happen.
Your vision expands. You learned more about exploration.
I placed the device down and attempted to craft something in it, but no matter what I did, nothing happened. Lucky for me, I had enough materials to complete one achievement.
Bang. Boom. What the frick? Achievement, hello. Achievement, hello. Hello. Crafting, I have it in my hand. Maybe the game's just feeling a little bit out of whack. Let's refresh. Okay, so the world took like 12 seconds to render in. Hey, you finally got the achievement. Oh my gosh. Let's go! Okay, I can actually repurpose this farm. Hello. Repurpose this farm now to just farm the crap out of the rest of the materials that I need.
Afterwards, however, I noticed a problem. My flux system had completely run out of power. I went to the Twilight Dimension to investigate, and I found that the black hole generator had become so powerful that it destroyed the flux plug.
Can you do what? That's a bug.
The fix for this problem was simple. I just needed to connect the flux plug a bit farther away with cryo-stabilized flux ducts. This also meant that I needed to be slightly more careful when dealing with the black hole generator, as one wrong move could destroy the entire machine. I went back to the mainland and began replacing some of the nether seeds with the seeds needed for the ultimate singularity. And while I was doing this, I found out something that would change the game.
No way! No way! It's fixed in the new version. In 4.2, it's fixed. The turn of events. The turn of events. I'm restarting my game right now.
That's right. In a newer version of SkyFactory, the filing cabinet achievement was fixed. This meant I could finally reach my goal of completing every achievement in the game. And I was very stoked.
I see penguin. I see penguin. I see penguin. Penguin mean new update. Game's not loading. Okay, there we go. The font's all weird. That's how you know it's updated. Please load. I am begging. What the frick?
Upon first impressions, things looked very weird, but I was still determined to get the achievement.
Nah. Yes! Let's go. Finally got the achievement. Did they add any new? What the frick is that? No, no, don't add any random achievements in here. Seriously? Alright, boys, I'll show you how to get coal. So you type in coal into the system, you grab it, and you put it in your inventory. I won the game. Too easy, too easy.
On top of the random achievements, I was also noticing one big problem. There was no energy.
No, 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 not again. Is like the sucking power of... Oh, that's a problem. No! 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 My energy! My energy! It's all turned into a black hole! No! No! That wasn't mentioned in the patch notes.
The new update had caused my black hole generator to collapse in on itself, causing a major loss.
No! It's all gone! It's all gone!
There were also some random achievements for the Twilight Forest.
No, why is there... These weren't in the patch. Oh, what the frick is this?
Before I dealt with that mess, I wanted to rebuild another black hole generator, one that I could build in the overworld. Thus, I picked up a black hole with some sort of world interaction magic and placed it on another platform not too far from the main island. I then reconstructed the black hole generator and threw some titanium blocks into it for fuel, getting me back up to half speed. After a few minutes of crafting raw materials, I had acquired some more singularities. And now, it was time to figure out this mess. After many minutes of trying to locate all of the different woods, I eventually gave up.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna give up on this achievement because I can't even read half of these things and my inventory is looking awfully sadistic right now.
Before you dislike this video and cancel me on Twitter for not living up to my own standards, in my defense, it wasn't an achievement that was listed in the previous version of the game, which was the version I was aiming to complete. I did get the other achievement though.
What a hard battle. And I got the achievement for something I've already done. Fan-freaking-tastic.
I tried to get back into astral sorcery, but I was really struggling with figuring out how everything worked. I eventually found out that a device called a resonating wand is needed to craft stuff. After right-clicking the luminous crafting table with it, I finally produced a few glass lenses.
Oh my god.
These allowed me to craft the looking glass, which I had no idea how to use. This was also around the time that I noticed I only needed 3 singularities left to obtain the ultimate singularity, so I boosted the production of all the seeds. I first got the Manulan singularity. 2 more left. The new update also caused my flux ducts to produce much less power, which negatively impacted the majority of the fusion reactor. And if that fix occurred, I was scared for what other fixes there could be.
Wait.
They couldn't have fixed my child. My one and only, the bug that, like, changed my life. Thank God. These bug fixes, man, they're gonna kill my whole career. Then this happened. Oh, they've all got... Where the frick did that arrow just come from? After converting some more Ardite essence into Ardite ingots, I had enough for the Singularity. Only one more left, the Platinum Singularity. And, after a few minutes, I had the materials to create it. Now was the moment of truth.
Okay, that's more than enough. Oh my God, let's go. Bang, bang, bang.
Now we sit back and relax and watch the show as I get the final achievement in the El Juego. And... I have to keep clicking this for it to, like, refresh. Oh my God! La final cosa. I think that means the final thing. Do we want to do, like, a final run of my whole base before I actually get this? You know what, let's do that. Yeah, let's do it. I wanted to go through all of my achievements and all of my projects before unlocking the final achievement in the game. So sit back and relax as I give you the Solosis' SkyFactory Island Tour. This over here is a giant fusion generator that uses basically a black hole to generate energy. And also that thing is bugged, so it gives me a ton of energy. This is a giant 24 by 24 reactor, which has a bunch of depleted TBU fuel in it. Oh, also, there's a active cooler right there, which makes it super cool. And there's also a bunch of cells in here that I've accumulated over time. Up here is another 24 by 24 by 24 reactor. This is the nuclear-craft fusion reactor that is currently using deuterium and hydrogen, which I should probably switch over because this might run out soon. Right here is a giant farm for cobblestone, which ended up filling up this whole black hole unit. Oh, also, I forgot to mention over here is my giant generator for hydrogen, deuterium, and oxygen that uses electrolyzer and water to basically split it apart, put it in these fluid transfer nodes, and then put it in these cans over here. Here is a project that failed where I tried to fuel a giant infinity drill, which never worked because it's capped. Here's a small system here that basically farms TBU fuel. Here's the giant system that I use to give myself a ton of data for my ME system. Here's some random junk that basically got me some stuff, you know. Note, it would probably take me 10 minutes just to go over the process of every single machine, so consider me skipping over this as a favor. This one's fun. This is where I farmed a whole bunch of tough alloys by combining a whole bunch of alloy furnaces, as you can see. Here's my melter, which melted a bunch of diamonds earlier, also using the ingot former, salt mixer, melter, another electrolyzer, rock crusher, pressurizer, fluid extractor, enrichment chamber, all good stuff. These giant 3 tanks were basically the original for those machines over there. This is basically... I just haven't cleaned this up ever. Here's my ME system, which I'm very proud of. As you can see, it's fueling these quantum compressors, which are making cookie singularities, which I filled up this whole cookie jar with. Here's my system for smelting things. It goes into the large chest, goes into the ultimate furnace, which smelts it super fast. And I had totally forgot that I put flux in here, but I just now found it. Oh yeah, look at my giant collection of ME drives and all that stuff. As you can see here, we got I'm not even gonna read that number. We have a giant storage cell, we have a giant gas storage cell, and a giant fluid storage cell. This ender chest is basically the input for my ME system. Here's a bunch more machines. Here's some other stuff. I'm not really going to explain this because it's really boring. Oh, this one's fun. This was the original iron farm, which I doubt is still running, but it does have a lot of materials still stuck in it. Here's my original bonsai farm. Basically a bunch of materials farm here, go into this chest, go into that chest, split off into other chests, and then go into the ME system. This one's cool. This is the water bottle farm that I used, where I put a bunch of water bottles in here and then auto click on the dense infinite water source and then send it into the ME system. Here's the giant water farm that I used to fill up that black hole storage unit. Here's something I used to try to fill up the fluid filing cabinet, but that didn't really work. Here's my collection of statues. Here is the giant machine that allowed me to get the compressed sugarcane and netherrack. Basically, it starts down here, makes the netherrack, and then compresses enhances it as it goes on. It's pretty cool. Here's the original mob farm. There's a, oh, I'm not gonna go up there. This is the Android mob farm, which basically allowed me to get a ton of essence that I'm not actually using right now. Also gave me a ton of parts that I could throw into the black hole. This thing allowed me to spawn mobs and get the glitch armor that I have. That is almost broken. I just noticed that. Here are all the glorious cakes. We got Overworld, End, Twilight Forest, Nether, Lost Cities, and Hunting Dimension cake. Here's a bed. I don't think I've ever used this since like episode 1. We're gonna go to sleep, boys. Right here is pretty much the OG island if you ignore all of the other stuff around me and kind of cut barriers here and here. This is basically what the original island was like. I had the cobblestone cauldrons, the chest builder, all this stuff. I remember how I put these apples in this chest because I didn't want them to fill up my ME storage. It's literally not a problem anymore. Here's a little bit of cactus. Here are the crushing tubs that I used earlier. As you can see, this is the farm that I made. Originally, this was like a tiny little plot of land that I used to farm carrots. You guys might remember that from the second episode. Look at it now. It's farming all these rainbowy materials. It's got the fertilizer. It's got the hydrogel blocks. I doubt those make a difference. On top of that, growth crystal 1, growth crystal 2, we have tons of those overneath those plants. I don't think overneath is a word. And then it basically collects these and just sends that over. And as you can see, the ender chest that I was featuring earlier, like, it's bugged. There's so much stuff going into it. Here's the original farm. I think this has been around since episode 2. Here are the original resource hogs that I used. Here is the giant resource hog farm that I made recently. This is possibly one of my proudest creations. This is the ginormous farm we used to get all of those magical crops. And additionally, this is what we used to get the compressed sugarcane and netherrack. As you can see, it's powered by the flux point. Power goes into the harvester. The harvester grabs all this, goes into the item extraction cable, and then goes into the ender chest. Here are my Supremium broadsword, Night Slime Yo-Yo, Cobblestone pickaxe, that's not cobblestone, Supremium Mattock. Down here is pretty cool. You can see the maximum amount of like growth accelerators being used here. So this is me not doing anything. These plants are growing almost instantly. And then this plant interactor, which actually acts like a person clicking on them, is what I use to farm seeds. We have some matter decomposers here. We got some random stuff. I really don't remember what this was about. I think it was like 1 a.m. when I made that. Here is the giant battery that is used by the flux system. As you can see, this holds almost 2 billion power. And finally, I've been working on this a little bit, you know, just before the end of the episode. This is just the astral sorcery stuff. I probably should have got into this way before now. And I almost forgot. We have the giant smeltery here, which hasn't progressed much and has a whole bunch of junk in it. But this is the original smeltery. You guys might remember it was kind of a little 3x3 thing over here. Now it's a giant machine. We still have a little bit left, so this is a little thing that I use to get those graphite dust and whatever. Here's something that I haven't used in a while. This is what I use to farm plastic. Basically extracts all of the plastic stuff from the wood. And here's the experience tap thing, where you can turn this on and just get a ton of experience. I'm level 249, so it's not doing a whole lot, but if I were level 0, I would be filling up so fast right now. And finally, we have the long-range viaduct track kind of roller coaster that I made that would allow me to preview the entire island. And you know what? You guys can skip over this if you want, but I'm gonna do a giant take of the entire island. This is probably gonna lag the crap out of my computer, but let's do it. And now, we are gonna finish the game with the ultimate singularity. Yes! Oh my god. Yes. We've got the ultimate singularity. Dude, this is a good day for me. I'll tell you that. You guys don't understand. I have recorded over at least over 100 hours of SkyFactory in the past, maybe, was it 6 months? This video took 6 months for me to make. The fact that that all came down to this single singularity, I am holding 6 months of progress in my hand. The fact that I've been able to obtain this whilst attending online boarding school and having tons of homework along with that, dude, this is a good day. This is a good day. I know this is a scripted video, but I'm actually just gonna do the entire outro in the game. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this because I am not enjoying it now. This took too long. And even though I'm not filming this as an outro, I'm gonna treat it like one. Bye. Editing slows. It's been nice, but this is gonna be the end. All right. See you guys later. That is la video final. Not good Spanish grammar. I am actually in a Zoom class right now, and I did completely forget to record an outro. So, thank you guys for watching. Go subscribe, do the like, do the comment, do the everything you can to make this video a banger. Anyway, next video is probably going to be about Zoom and IMSA and my boarding school, because that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm actually going back to school on the 6th of April. Something about going back to school in April. I can't go back to school because they closed the school. It's the 6th of April. They said we can't go back. They canceled it. Why did they cancel it? What the frick? They can't cancel it. I can't make my new video. Anyway, I'm going to see you guys later. This is taking way too long, man. Look at all this editing. I'm not even done editing. I just got to the end. I'm like, I didn't record an outro. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I'm going to head out. Adios. Watch this. I forgot to record the freaking... Oh my gosh, hold on. It has come to the point where you are now smashing the like button.